Welcome back to Brown's Neighborhood. I got my partner, long time, elementary, back in the house. Huh? What's your name?
Todd Rose.
Todd Rose. One thing I want to know, what this is going to be all about, is Todd's life after being incarcerated. Todd is a strong brother. Any brother that can stay strong and make it through what he done made it through, God had to have his back. So that's for the people, if they don't know, now they do know. Todd, how many years did you do?
I did 31 years.
Any man that could make it through 31 years and look like he's looking, God definitely had to be on his side. You ain't gonna get out of there with 31 years and look as good as Todd looking. I'm not just saying it because he's my elementary partner, friends for a long time. This is just real talk. Todd, now that you've been out, they gave you a coming home party. You've been out now how many years?
I've been out 11 years now.
Been out 11 years. Todd got a whole decade and a year behind him. He done a lot of things. He done seen a lot. And I need to know what's going on with him. Not only once he got out, now where he is today. Todd, when you got out and being free, how did it feel?
I felt good getting out. You know, I still was trying to process the feeling because when you up in there, you never thought that you was gonna see daylight. So once I hit freedom, it was like I was like a kid in a candy store. I was just trying to find myself, just trying to find ways to be a better person. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, when you're free, you just want to just come and go as you please instead of having restrictions on you, like being in there. You know, you're always told what to do, when to go to the canteen, when to go to the restroom if you're in a dorm. But just being out here, I went through trials and tribulations as well, as far as just trying to find solitude within myself. You know, people coming in and out your life, you know what I mean?
Right.
And just being let through them gates, it showed me and taught me that I finally made it. And
so let me ask this question. Walking through them gates and God giving you a second chance at freedom at life, man, that had to be a hell of a feeling.
It was a hell of a feeling because especially when you didn't think that you was gonna ever get out. Mm-hmm. And just to be able to breathe fresh air and to be able to touch things that you couldn't touch in there, just to smell gasoline, just to see the greenery of the world, of the earth, just to hear kids talking and laughing, hear birds chirping. I mean, you don't realize when you up in there, you are basically in survival mode. Right. And you kind of block the real world out because you're in a world of no man's land. You're in there with murderers, thieves, kidnappers, jackers, rapists, we can name it. Right. And so coming out here, now that I don't have those things in front of me, I was started just being thankful just to be free. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I went through a lot, you know, different relationships, different challenges of just trying to find that niche. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, one thing is I want people to understand, you know, when you've been down, you get free. I'm just trying to picture it in my head to be free. There's a whole lot to think about, you know what I'm saying? Nobody can really know what you think and how you feel because they ain't lived that. And one of the things you just said, to see kids laughing, to hear birds chirping, to see, you know, different kind of life again. And then they give you this coming home party. Mm-hmm. Man, how did it feel to even have a coming home party? You know what I'm saying?
So the coming home party was like I was being pulled from all different avenues. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to do this for me. Everybody wanted to do that. And I really couldn't make time for everybody. You know what I mean? Because trying to do that, it meant that I was kind of not personally trying to neglect other people, but at the end of the day, I was just trying to take what was there for me.
Right.
And so when I first got out, yeah, they gave me a homecoming party. I mean, it was at the I'll never forget, it was at the Maverick Flats.
Yeah.
And a lot of my brothers showed up because when I always was looking at a lot of people, and when I used to watch the NBA drafts, I always said, if I ever get released, I'm gonna dress like an NBA draft player.
Wow.
And so my boy Baker, he can contest to this. When I showed up to the Maverick Flats, I came with a blazer on.
Is that right?
I had a powder blue tie on.
What?
I had a Michael Jordan shirt on. And I had on some white jeans and some Michael Jordan shoes because I always wanted to look like an athlete.
Were you looking good?
I mean, I was cool.
Man, damn that.
Cool.
Excuse my language.
I was cool.
Man, were you looking good?
I was cool.
Well,
I mean,
look
man.
here. Oh, man. Baker. Baker's in the house tonight.
Right.
Was he looking good, Baker?
He was looking great coming home from all that time.
You know, Todd is modest, and I like that. That's cool. But if you're looking good, you're looking good, man. I look at, you know. So Todd was looking good. You know what I'm saying? You know, matter of fact, 11 years later, you still looking good, bruh. I'm telling you, you still got that Mike. You must like Mike because you got on Mike's jersey. He said he had on a powder blue tie. He got on powder blue today. Now that ain't what he was thinking because the day wasn't supposed to be
Exactly.
in Todd in this seat. So I want y'all to know that Todd was there representing another brother named Antoine Raby that was getting recognized for 35 years of service. And he decided, Brown, let me talk about, you know, I said, man, you want to talk about your life after being incarcerated? He said, why not? So I'm just want to point out he got on that powder blue again and how good he's looking. And I just want to say it can't be nothing but God. You know what I'm saying? And just remember this, bruh. When you look good, people going to be jealous of it too. So get ready for the haters and get ready for the congratulators. And I'm one of the congratulators because I want to say, man, you looking damn good. After 11 years and you still, you know, have to find life. You have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? What people got to understand. When somebody gets free like that, they got to figure it out. It ain't like they know already. You know what I'm saying? You get free, man, I got to figure life out all over again. So what did you do? Who came in your life to even try to be a help?
Well, I can say that I went through a lot of different type of relationships with different females. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's one female that when I came home, I was with for a minute, you know, then things didn't work out. And
Okay,
then,
well, what I want to do, see, when you come to my podcast, Brown's Neighborhood, you want to say this a female came into your life.
Okay.
I want to know what their name is. See, sometimes that's called put on the hot seat.
Me and Terry started, you know,
Talking after you was home.
talking after I was home. Yeah.
And then you met her.
Well, no, I met Terry back in like 1984 when I was in the county jail.
And then it happened all over?
And then when I came home, we found each other on Facebook.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How did that feel, though?
It felt good.
If it feel good, just tell me how, it felt good.
It felt good, you know, because when I first, when we first connected, you know, I really didn't remember her because, you know, like I said, being in there, you forget about a lot of things. But then once, when she mentioned to me that, yeah, I was, Terry, remember we used to write back and forth and this and that, and I had to put it together because she had a different last name.
Okay.
I remember by Terry Thompson, but she had a different name. Okay. And so then once I figured it out, you know, we got together and, you know, we started dating and seeing each other.
Mine started clicking again.
It started clicking, yeah.
And you started dating.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It felt good because, you know, Terry was the type of person, she always motivated me to do things.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It ain't nothing like a lady coming into your life and can motivate your life, you know what I'm saying? Because we do it for them as well. We, you know, men, and we motivate women. Women motivate us. it ain't nothing like finding somebody that touch your life.
Yeah.
So did she touch your life?
Yeah. You know, I was kind of stubborn, you know, because Terry was always straightforward, but I was lacking communication skill, and she always told me that I didn't communicate, and I heard her, but I didn't hear her because, you know, how could you communicate when you really didn't understand that? Because I never had to communicate with no one.
Right. So,
and when you in a relationship, you're supposed to let your significant other know every little thing. Whatever you're going through, you talk about it, and y'all work through it together. And I heard her, but I didn't hear her. Because
at that time. Today, the man that you is now.
Man, I get it cold-hearted 100%.
So that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we got to understand growth do come, you know, in time. At that time, you know, getting out, trying to find who you were. Again, you had to find out who Todd was, and you might have met a nice lady, and you still was growing. As I look at you today, I mean, you done growed a whole lot. I mean, you know, and what I mean by that, just maturing and mental, because when you're in there, your mental is survival. You get out here, it's still survival, but you got to know how to deal with people. You know, deal with different feelings from different people, different friends and things of that nature. So now that you do see that, you know, you didn't, you know, some things that you were saying and you didn't get it, now you see where you were lacking at that time.
Yes, I was lacking in communication. And I think it was due to my stubbornness, which, you know, I'm a man. I'm a type of person, I don't mind correcting my faults, you know, because I can handle constructive criticism. It might take me a while to get it, but then once I get it, I start applying it. And I can honestly say that this was a woman that, you know, I was engaged to.
She impact your life?
Yeah,
she did impact your life.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna ask you a question, and a lot of people might not want to hear that, and we're gonna get down the road. Did you love her?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. I ain't gonna get too deep because I'll get deep in it, boy. You're thinking we out in the ocean somewhere.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I don't mind talking about my life because, you know, this is my life. You know, you got some people gonna be with you, some people ain't gonna be with you. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't care because this is about me. You know, and I had to find that I had to love myself before I could love somebody else.
I want to say is, man, I love the way you're taking care of yourself. You know, as we get older, a lot of us forget how to take care of ourselves. I got to learn how to get Brown back right. You know, I'm working on it too. When y'all see me later, you know, it ain't about me right now. But boy, y'all don't get mad at me because I'm going to be looking good. I'm going to be looking pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be seeing Todd at the gym. I say, shoot, look, if Todd can do it, why can't Mr. Brown do it too? Feel me, baby?
Amen. Amen.
So keep it up, man. You look, hey, a lot of people wish they could look as good as you at 61. You know what I'm saying?
62.
Your birthday. Okay, you a Taurus. Okay, I got it. I don't want to say I'll be 62 next month.
I'm older than you.
About 1 month.
It don't matter. I'm still older than you.
Oh, now he want me to call him my elder or something. You know what I'm saying? That's my partner. I love it.
Yeah.
So now, this lady was in your life, and communication kind of wasn't there, and y'all went y'all way.
Yeah.
You know, do you ever think about it?
Oh yeah, I think about it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know how sometimes you leave, you be like, man, you know, I could have done something different. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that.
And that's true. You know, and when you committed to someone and you engaged to someone, that's someone that, you know, you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I look back on it, I wish I could have did things different. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wish I could have just got out of my own way and just
say that again. Say that. That's big talk right there. I love that. If you could have did what?
I got out of my own way.
A lot of us need to get out of our own doggone way sometime. Nephew, did you hear that? His name is Buddha. I want people to know who he is. He behind the scenes. That boy don't want to be seen walking down the street, but I'm gonna just say it anyway. You know,
Right.
my nephew. I gotta put him out there some kind of way.
Right.
But we gotta get out of our own way sometime. And I just love the maturity that you know, because it helped me too. You know what I'm saying? I figure I'm mature, but I'm learning too. You know what I'm saying? So you were engaged. All this time done passed. Have you ever been engaged again?
No.
Well, that sure say something, lady. You put a mark on that boy. So I say like with the tattoos on him, you know what I'm saying? You done put a mark on, you done marked him, you know what I'm saying? So God dog. This is just Brown's Neighborhood talking. You know, this is how I do it on the Brown's Neighborhood show. You know what I mean? I might say anything, you know. I just don't take me off the airway because this is one of the best hobbies I got. And I just discovered it 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing well.
Thank you, man. So after that happened, what was Todd trying to get into? What was he thinking?
Far as
How am I survive? What job I'm gonna get? What am I going? What is Todd gonna do?
I had to get back to what I knew, and far as dealing with the public, dealing with people. So you know, when you're incarcerated, you know, when we come out of here, we good at self-help. We're good at giving back and helping. And so, you know, I went through all type of different jobs. I was working at the railroad, at Parsec. I worked at driving for Lyft and Uber, you know, which, you know, it kept money in your pocket.
Right.
But then within the last couple of years, I got involved in dealing with drugs and people who are on alcohol and drugs.
So you was working in a facility,
Yeah.
with people that was on alcohol and drugs.
Yeah, they go through a program. They go through the program first, and then they send them to me to the bridging house, and I help them to get back into society. I help them to try to find jobs.
So you giving back to them,
Yeah, I'm giving back.
helping them.
Yes.
Now ain't that something? You was locked up, you got out, got yourself together, and now you helping somebody else get their life together.
Yes.
I like that. That's in my line of work. I like that, man. You like what you're doing?
Yeah, you know, you know, when you a minister to society like I was, you know, I felt that I need to pay my debt back to society by giving back. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I was taking, you know, I was going against the grain. I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
You know, just got caught up in that quote unquote hood thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's the old saying, sometimes you could become a product of your environment.
Man, tell me about that. Yeah. You know, I done been there, but I ain't go, you know, as deep. But one thing I do like what you said, you know, and most people ain't gonna say this. A menace to society. You know what I'm saying? For somebody to say that and owned up to, you know, I was a menace to society. People ain't gonna say that about themselves. They want themselves to shine. They want themselves to look good. And they ain't gonna say a damn thing bad about themselves. I don't care who they is. And Daniel Butchie Brown said that. You know, they ain't gonna say nothing bad about themselves. And one thing is, they ask all of them done bad at something. So that's just me talking. I don't want to get into my own feelings, you know what I'm saying? But everybody done something bad. I don't care who they are. It may not be as bad, but believe me, it was bad. So I'm liking what you're doing, helping people. But now, what have you just really? What are some of the things that you learned now, being free? You just didn't know before you went.
Well, what I learned, and I try to tell a lot of youngsters, you know, that I run across, you know, I was afraid to ask for help.
Man, woo. Boy, you said something real powerful. Now, don't let me throw you off track. God, dog. Do you know how many people scared to ask for help? And we talking about people that think they got their stuff together. they don't even ask for help. Women, you too. Y'all can need help and don't ask either, because their pride get in the way. If you need help from a man or whoever it is, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because a man want to be that person that can help you. He gonna make him more of a man if he can help you. But I'm gonna move on from there. Go ahead. That was just big to say, to ask for help. We need help.
And I try to instill this in the kids, because, you got to think about the consequences behind your actions. Because every action is a reaction.
Yes, sir.
And so when I was going through stuff, instead of me going and asking a friend or someone that's close to me, like, man, how do I get out of this, man? What do I need to do? I was avoiding it. I thought I could do it on my own. But that's a false narrative. You can't do nothing on your own. We need each other to uplift each other.
Ooh, boy, look here. If you ain't learned nothing else, boy, since you done got free, somebody been rehearsing you?
No.
So, the way he says stuff, did they rehearse you before you came on the podcast? Because your soul said some good things, and people need to hear that, Say that, man. Say that again. I know it's hard to remember. That's like when people ask me, "What did you learn? What did they say in church today?" I'll be like, "Man, look, I done been out of church for a couple hours. You want to ask me, what did I learn in church today?" Oh man, then you got to go back and kind of nitpick through it. You know what I'm saying?
I can kind of give it like, each one teach one. I can go that way.
Yeah,
with it.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I struggle with asking for help as a kid.
Yeah.
Because the reason I struggle, because it was never instilled into my life through my parents.
Okay.
So how can I instill something to somebody when I didn't know? So when I went to prison, and I'm going to just go back to that for a minute, I started finding myself. I started taking classes, anger management, denial management, Catargio, gang classes, parenting classes. A lot of things that I learned in there.
Man, you took more classes in there than you did when you was in school with me.
Exactly.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
took psychology classes. I did role plays. I had to play the role of a police. I had to play the role of a thief. I had to, so when you do all these role plays and you start implementing them in your life, then you start realizing, man, it's things that we can teach each other. And so I tell people, when you're going through stuff, ask for help. Because a lot of people vent, and I had to learn this when I took this psychology class for 2 years. People vent to you for different reasons.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times they just want you to listen.
Say that again.
A lot of times they just want you to listen. You don't have to answer. You know what I mean? And sometimes you might got a story to tell. You might be into cooking. And you talking to me about cooking, I can't be disinterested in that because this is something that you want me to hear. And so I had to learn that everybody got a way of wanting to communicate with you,
Right.
and then you got to be open-minded and listen to them.
Right,
Because I'm starting to be more of a listener.
See,
you know what I mean?
Hey, Todd, that's good, because I'm going to tell you why. Them women want you to listen. Us as men, we be ready to correct it and all of that.
Yeah.
And all they really want us to do is just listen. They're emotional beings, and they just want you to hear what all of it. So let them go on and get it all out. I'm just telling that for the next man that may get to hear this or something like that. And that woman talking, just go and listen to her. Listen to her and let her empty it all out, because that's what she want to do. She just wants you to listen sometime. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where this boy getting all his knowledge from, but thanks for spitting it out on the Browns Neighborhood Show, boy. Come on, tell me some more.
And I'm a firm believer in finding peace within yourself. Because you ain't gonna get it from no one else but God and yourself. And so my peace comes from working out again. Because
cool.
In there, I used to work out religiously.
Right.
And then when I came home, I started just laying around, eating, drinking, partying, and as years go by, I started going into like depression, just because it was things that wasn't going right in my life. And so, just going to the doctors and the doctors asked me like, what are you doing now that you wasn't doing then? My blood pressure started elevating, cholesterol and this and that. And so I was like, man, what I wasn't doing, I wasn't exercising. So I just got back into the program. I just started doing things that make me feel good about myself.
Right.
Because if you're not doing nothing to feel good about yourself, the next person ain't gonna give a damn about you.
Ooh-wee. Boy, you spitting, you show talking now. Boy, a lot of ladies ain't ready for that. They might think they is, but if you keep pushing like that, she gotta be ready for that. You know what I'm saying? You can meet somebody, but if they ain't ready, they just ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? I don't just, just a man, I'm just talking. Most men just don't want anybody. He wants somebody that he can glean and look up to too. You know what I'm saying? That can understand him. And men, they gonna have to find out who Todd is now. They gotta come with a different communication or something. Cause I can see it.
I'm a Taurus, and I honestly can say that I'm very bullheaded. My best friend Clarence, rest in peace. His mama, Miss Worship, she pulled me in as one of her sons.
Right.
And so she had me, I was living for a while. I'm just saying that to say why I'm stubborn. And she used to always say, you got to stop being bullheaded, Todd. You're very stubborn. And I am. And I'm stubborn to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm stubborn if like certain things ain't going right in my life and this and that, I go into this shutdown mode. But I had to realize that wasn't healthy for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had to get away from that. And so when I find troubles coming my way, I go into my toolbox, the things that I learned in prison, I take it from here and I put it over here on the left side where I can think about it. I say, okay, no. So we're not going to be stubborn today. We're going to address it. We're going to take it heads on. And so, if I feel that I'm going through something, I listen to some music. I might take a walk. You got to do things to motivate and stimulate your mind, because the mind is a dangerous thing to waste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this, man. A lot of people wouldn't even admit if they were stubborn. That's the first thing you did that make all the sense in the world. To know that, hey, man, I'm stubborn, but I know it, I recognize it, and I want to deal with it. See, a lot of people have problems. One, they won't admit to it. Two, they ain't trying to correct it. For you to say, man, I know that I was stubborn, bullheaded, whatever it is, and now I know I have to deal with that and correct that, that's a sign of going forward, not backwards. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm glad you said that, because, excuse me, taking this class called denial management, and the first thing they teach you is that blaming others. And I used to blame my parents. I used to blame everybody for my shortcomings. But at the end of the day, it was all about the choices that I made. My parents only did what they can do, what they were taught from their parents.
What they knew.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
And I had to come to grips to that. My mom's raised me the best she could.
Man, say that again, bruh.
My mom raised me the best she could.
Best she could do, bruh. Hey, that's it. That's all. We have to understand we don't get to choose who our parents is. And whoever they are, they can do the best they can. Some of us grow up with parents that have silver spoons. Some of us grow up with parents that's growing up in poverty. And after that, they did the best they can. Now, son, I had you. Stay strong and see what you can do. That's better than what I did. And so that's where it's at.
Yeah, and I grew up in poverty. I, grew up poor. Grew up, the food stamp era. Roaches in the house. But as a kid, you think that's normal. But it wasn't normal. That was something that was really affecting our household.
Right.
That's when all the, just getting out of character within myself, not knowing when my next meal is going to be on the table, you know. And so as I started growing, I started realizing, man, that this is crazy. Just going, you know, to the neighborhood, seeing all this shit around me that's going on with the drugs, and then I got involved in it, you know, because I seen how my moms and them was struggling. I got away from everything that I grew up doing. I got away from playing basketball. I got away from working at the bank. I used to work at Mitsui Manufacturing Bank, but I felt that I wasn't making enough money. So what did I do? I started creating my boundaries all in the streets. You know, I started seeing people riding around in Cadillacs. I wanted to be that, but that wasn't me.
Right.
I just got tunnel vision. I got off track.
Man, look here. When they say real talk, boy, we on real talk right now. Because one thing you said, and most, not a kid gonna do it too much, and definitely not a grown-up. When a person say, man, I grew up poor, that's saying I'm putting my pride aside. And I'm gonna tell them just like it is.